And a really good example of progress being held back. I was at the conference in Los Angeles or Anaheim. It's called Raadfest, Revolution Against Aging and Death. Super cool. Um, but there was a lady on there on stage who was talking about the research her and her company are doing, and they were ready for human trials on a certain type of genetic editing, and they've gone through the animal testing, they've gone through the whole correct process, got approval, and then they came and said, hey, we're ready to do human trials, we've got all these results, we're ready to go, everything's looking good, green light, right? And the one big agency out there that holds back this area most said, no, actually, we want you to go back to animal testing, even though you already did that. We want you to go back there and do $10 million worth more of research and animal testing. And as you were saying earlier, the funding is not there for that. When things take too much time, investors aren't going to get their return on investment in a reasonable time, and they're not going to put their money into it. And so that whole project, which is very promising, is in a holding pattern now for no reason other than someone within this agency decided, nah, we want to send you back a few steps. And that's just one company dealing with that. I heard company after company after company over an entire weekend talk about how close they are if only they could get approval to do certain trials, or how close they were if they could only get the funding to pay for what's way more expensive than it should be. There's a lot of these trials that are only as expensive as they are because of the regulation that's involved. And there's a guy who came on stage, and someone from the audience asked him, how far away are we from having a viable cure to aging and death? And he kind of went through a lengthy explanation, but the gist of it was, with things going the way they are, if we didn't hit any more roadblocks, in his humble opinion, not humble, in his opinion, we were 5 to 10 years away from a viable, definite cure to aging. As things are now, if no more roadblocks were hit. But the holdback, he went on to say, was funding. There wasn't enough funding for it. And this particular guy, I think his name was Aubrey DeGray, he works through nonprofit organizations. He had the SENS Foundation before, and he has another one that he's working with now. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. But he's one of the guys who has a study now that's very, very promising, has gone through certain steps already, and is looking great, but is in a holding pattern because of regulation and funding.